Hello, story lovers. I'm Laurel McCarg, host of Alligator Preserves, and I have a really special show for you today because this is my very first coronavirus interview since this hit. So stay tuned, and you're going to meet a new guy in town. Well, he's a new guy to me anyway. Adam Ross, welcome to Alligator Preserves.
Hi, Laurel. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. First, maybe we should tell everybody out there how we found one another, if you remember.
Uh, Facebook is how it came up. I have so I've got an online store right now. We're working toward making it a brick and mortar called Roscoe Lorenzo General Store and Newsstand. I do a lot of work with local authors to promote their work and share them, and also be a venue that will eventually host them in the store for book signings and all kinds of stuff like that. And part of that is I have a author group called Roscoe Lorenzo Author Group, where me and my little stable of authors, we get together and pull ideas together for each other, how to support each other, how I can help them, and they can support each other. And Laurel, I can't remember if you sent me a request, I sent you a
I
request, or you
did.
found me
I
through.
sent you a request. I saw that you were in touch with another author, another Colorado author, and it was something about sending. She was going to send you her books, and you were going to have them in your store. And I read about you, and I read that you were supporting local authors. And so then I contacted you, and I said, I'm a local author. How do we? What are you looking for? So your company, first of all, let me just say that you on your site, Adam Ross, is an author, entrepreneur, Star Wars fan,
Yes, ma'am.
and coffee lover. Now, let
And
me
I should
just,
edit that to say coffee snob, because I am getting kind of snotty about my coffee
all
tasting.
right. Well, I'm going to give you a little scenario here, right? I invite you over to my house someday, and you walk in and you see me pop open the Folgers Gourmet, maybe the Colombian, maybe the Supreme, maybe the breakfast blend. I don't know. They all taste the same. And you see me put 2 scoops into my REI camping percolator and put it on the stove. What do you do?
Well, I thank you for being a gracious host and having me over for coffee, but then I'm going to judge your coffee taste. uh, Folgers is not my first choice. I mean, it gets the job done. Coffee is coffee. At the end of the day, coffee's coffee. But my preferred go-to coffee, I like pour-over style coffee, and Allegro brand coffee is my preferred brand. I also like Pete's coffee as well. It's a good one.
I've had that before. Mike and I have 2 sons, and they've become coffee snobs over the years. And it was from them that I learned what a French press was,
Mhm.
and cold brew, and other things. So we do have the ability to do better coffee than the percolator, but I don't know. It's kind of one
Hey,
of those
coffee's coffee. I mean, that's my taste, and you have your taste. So there we go.
cream and sugar,
Just sugar.
just sugar. That's what I've been
Just
doing lately.
yeah, 2 packets of sugar. Yeah.
2. All right. Okay. You are an author,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I saw recently that you finished a first draft on something.
Yeah. So many years ago, when I was putting pen to paper, I wrote a book called Turning Left, and I was like 19, and it was very not professional, not edited. It was a journey into self-publishing, and I put it out there for the world, and got a few out there, like 10 copies or something like that. I bought for myself to have and give out, and it was a story about a homeless man who is running from agents, and you don't know if they're real or imagined. And the whole way through, you're getting to know this man's harboring some pretty big secrets for stuff that he's witnessed in the past. And so we're giving plausibility to this. And in the end, there's a twist that's pretty simple, and it's actually really in your face the whole time. That really, I don't want to give it away, because if ever I
Don't.
decide to go big. So I did finish, I rewrote it, and cut some stuff out. There's a lot of subplots, a lot of extra characters. I went back and read it like a year ago, and I was like, I think I can redo this and make it better. And so I did. That was my first draft. Before that, I was working on a memoir about the story of my ex and I, and the journey that we had together from moving from San Diego to Colorado. And that story became, it was good and therapeutic and healing to write that. We have since separated back in January, but it became very personal and a very touching story that I wanted to keep for myself for now. So I can remember the ride that we had. I mean, there was a lot of darkness in there, but there was also a lot of good times, and those good times are very special to me. And for now, I want to keep them for myself.
Okay. When did you move from San Diego did you move from San Diego to
I
Parker?
No, so I actually first came to Colorado when I was 18. Lived here for about 10 years, went back and lived with my grandparents. And I just came back last April, and I was living in Centennial, went up to Lakewood, and then back to Parker back in February.
Okay. What draws you to Parker?
Well, honest to God, while I'm sitting here, I still don't have the ability to make a good story. But I came down here because the relationship ended, and my family was down here to be supportive of that. And then I just fell in love with the town. It is a small town feel, in spite of the fact of it being 66,000 and growing. There's a lot of growth happening right now in Parker. The next few years are going to be really exciting for the town. They do a great job supporting small business and everything local. I have since befriended a lot of the local business owners down here, and they are just delightful, lovely people who are so down to earth and so supportive of each other and me and my journey, what I'm trying to build. Um, and a couple of them come to mind right now who have reached out, similar to how you did, and we're like, hey, here's stuff that I encountered when I built my business. Look out for these things.
Go ahead and give us some shout outs to some places.
The first one is Susan from Kilwins. She has been amazing. It's a chocolate confectionery down here.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the first day I walked in and I met her in person, she was dipping apples into caramel and making them right there in the store. These apples, they're big, beautiful green apples, and she knows her chocolate. I have a sweet tooth that won't go away, so she's helpful in that regard too. Lynn, who owns Parker Hair Express, has been an amazing mentor and amazing help. She has been in business for many, many years and really knows Castle Rock and Parker business and how it runs and operates. And she does hair. I took my mom over there for Mother's Day to get her hair done. And she was very pleased and loved it.
I was about to
Um,
make a joke about you going to a hairstylist.
that's how Lynn and I hooked up. Is she did my hair. Yeah, great job. No. She's an amazing, amazing, wonderful lady, and just nothing but good energy right there. I mean, the two of them have been terrific. There's a commercial real estate broker named Jessica who's also fantastic, and I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and list people and forget people, and it's just a lovely community down here.
Awesome. So you're an entrepreneur and you have something called RL Productions.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that.
Uh, RL Productions is something I need to develop a little bit further, but basically it is a service where I work with authors to host their book launch parties, or if they want to do an anniversary party or maybe a release of a paperback, or just have an author celebration where I would do the organizing of the event for them in line with what their vision is and how they want it. So that way when the night comes, they can come in and just be the toast of the town. And they don't need to worry about running the sales. They don't need to worry about how many books do I have. They don't need to worry about any of the details. All they gotta do is schmooze, get up on that podium and share their story and share their book and revel with their friends and their family and loved ones and have a really evening dedicated to them. And that's what RL Productions is.
When will you be open for that business?
That is already kind of up and running in the background. Obviously, opening the brick and mortar is my main focus because that'll be a vessel that I can use to facilitate a lot of those parties. And it would be a very inexpensive venue for authors to use to come in and have their party. And I'll already be there set up with the espresso bar, the coffee bar. We'll have pastries, sandwiches, canned IPAs, and of course, we can bring in wine for it as well, and the register as well. So it would be full service running right there with the brick and mortars. So that's been my main focus. But RL Productions, I can already get up and running with anybody.
Who does your bakery stuff?
Bakery, it is, it is La Salle Bakery. It's a French bakery. I think that's what it's called. I'll send you the actual information. The guy's name is Julian. He's going to be, he's based in Thornton, and he does French baked goods.
Wonderful. And so you have a general store and again, I'll have links to all the things that you're talking about, but you have a general store already set up where people can go online and purchase things, what kind of things could they find there?
On top of books from the local authors, also some bestsellers, kids' books. They can also find mugs, pop culture themed, of course. Tote
Star
bags,
Wars.
socks, Star Wars, of course. Star Wars can't ever have a day without Star Wars. Some neat stuff that's going to be coming soon is we're going to have some CBD oils and aromatherapy things, as well as lemonade mixes and candles, and I think some magnets are coming in, and also t-shirts eventually down the road. I've got those vendors all lined up to bring that stuff in. Oh, and Hazel Ray leather goods. She's got purses and wallets, that just top line leather goods, really, really good quality stuff and brilliant bright colors, and just a wonderful human being to work with.
I kind of like bright colors. Can you tell by my
I can by your, yeah.
my
She's got
forest
some
background?
very nice green forest goods that would go well for you.
Wonderful. I sense, and I've never met you. This is our first time meeting face to face. I sense that having a positive attitude is something that's important to you.
It is. It really is. And in this current environment, and I'm glad you bring that up because today was actually kind of a rougher day for me internally, just with everything going on in the world. It really it brings me down and upsets me. And so I had to do a lot of positive reinforcement today that we can get through all this kind of stuff. It is very important to have a positive attitude because I think that is very helpful in getting through anything and overcoming everything and getting through one day to the next day to the next day, week after week after week. Negativity just, to me, it's a drag, it's a waste of time, it's wasted energy.
Have you always been an optimistic person?
I have tried to have an optimistic view. It has been something I've had to learn and be better at. In my younger days, I liked to be one of those couch surfers that sit back and nitpicks at everything and complains and gripes, and it's not an attractive quality that I didn't like on myself. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the how it brought other people down. And it wasn't, to me, it was, I was trying to be helpful and critical and build them up in a way that, oh, here's a flaw, you should fix this. But it turned out it just over time became something very different. So I had to kind of relearn it and teach myself. And I found a lot of great reading material to enforce that. And I read a lot of positive stuff from people and affirmations and try to find the better in everything. There's always a silver lining. And I know today particularly is a rough day for our country and society at large with everything going on. And I, as terrible and god awful as it is, my silver lining I'm taking away is these are necessary steps that we need to take to get rid of something that is very, very terrible in this country and keeps plaguing us and won't go away.
Okay. How old were you when you determined that you needed to change your attitude? How old are you now?
I am 36 now.
Okay.
And my mom is probably sitting in the other room laughing because I don't like to openly admit that I'm 36.
I'm 60. I'm 61. So there.
You look great, Laurel. I never would have pegged you for 61. It was probably my mid-20s is when I started having the inkling of, God, I bitch a lot and complain too much and find fault before I find good. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then subtly started shifting and holding my tongue. And well, I just found the power in picking people up instead of bringing them down.
Nice. I saw somewhere that you had a post about NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month.
Yes.
Have you participated in the past?
I have not, but I have been in touch with the Denver chapter I used to manage a coffee shop up in Wheat Ridge for a little bit at a time. And I was going to have them up for to do a write-in, and we're going to do all kinds of stuff. And I look forward to, when I have the brick and mortar, to have them in as well. I think it's a great organization that inspires writing, and even seasoned authors take advantage of it and challenge themselves and challenge their writing audience as well. So it's just a wonderful way to be inspired for the whole month.
I had a writing group. I used to live in Leadville. My t-shirt says, "Winter is always coming to Leadville." We lived there for 12 years before moving down to Salida, where it's considerably warmer. But I have so many incredibly fond memories of Leadville, and that's where I established myself as an author. And that's where I wrote my first book. During a NaNoWriMo session, another author friend of mine, Stephanie Spong, came into my writing group and said, "Who's going to do NaNoWriMo with me this year?" And none of
Nice.
us we'd never heard of what it was. And I thought she was talking in tongues. And when she explained what it was, the challenge to write 50,000 words in 30 days, we again all looked at her like she was insane. And then I think
Of
it was
course. Yeah.
October 31st, I decided, I'm a little competitive. I decided I'm going to do this. And I ended up writing, I think, 50,134 words in what ended up being my novel, Miss, my first novel, which I ended up finishing over the course of the next 4 months. So it definitely, for any writers out there, aspiring authors out there, you want to get that book out. Signing up for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, it's a personal challenge. And I like deadlines. Do you like deadlines?
I do. I do like deadlines because it just takes the guesswork out of and it takes the procrastination away from it. I know I have to get this done by tomorrow, so can't sit on my butt. Yeah.
Have you done any contests, any writing competitions?
Have I entered them or have I hosted them?
Have you entered any?
I have not.
I would throw that out there, and some of them are really fun, and you can get good feedback. And again, if you like short suspenses, one company, nycmidnight.com, they have all year round. They have all different types of writing contests, and you get feedback. And most of the contests cost money. I think they're pretty reasonable, but anyway, something to think about.
Yeah, good to enter.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Some people will say that there are only, I don't know, 7 or 8 original ideas in the world.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, look at all the remakes of the movies that we see now. I mean, everything's being rebooted 2 or 3 times, and um, no, I think there are it's 6 or 7, whatever they say, original ideas. Look at the amazing.
Oh, oh, you just froze. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. I can't hear you. You just froze.
Reinvent it. I'm gonna try to move here so my audio is going a little crazy.
All righty.
Uh,
I can hear you now.
okay. The millennials they get a bad rap as being lazy, and I'm like, no, they're taking old things and reinventing them and making them new, and that's pretty cool. Take a look at that, because I would look at the same thing and I'd say that's just what that is. It has no other purpose. But here's a new generation behind me taking something old and turning it into something I never thought it could be used for. I mean, that's cool. Like, that's really neat to be able to think that way, to look at that. So I think, there are 7 or 8 original ideas in the world. What are we going to do with them? You can put a different color, you can put different spin, you can turn on a side, you can put it upside down. I mean, you can blend it with the other one. I mean, there's many ways to make things new and fresh.
You can make a brooch. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
This was headphones. Now it's a scarf. It's a collar. I mean,
exactly. And I know some potential authors out there won't ever start their books because they'll say, well, it's already been done. What do you say to them?
right. Anyway, there's an ask for every seat. Excuse my language. It's like there's a reader for every book. There's 7 billion people on this earth and growing every day. There's gonna be people who are gonna read it, regardless if it's 1 or 1 million or 100 or 10. It's gonna be read somewhere.
And again, my thought is we might all experience the same thing, but we're all going to respond to it differently, and our voices will all be different in how we present that.
Absolutely. And
Oh, you froze again. I can't hear you.
let's see.
Oh, I
Any
can hear you
better?
now. I can hear you
There you
now. All right.
go. To those writers who don't write their book, when you pass away, you're taking that with you. You're not leaving your mark on the world. You're not leaving that book behind for us to read and remember you by. And that's so from a writing point of view, that's something I think about, is at least it's here.
Yeah. Yeah. What is the most difficult transition you've had to make because of COVID-19?
You know, I have been very fortunate that I have been employed during this whole time. I work at Target and grocery, so I've been an essential worker. Um, and the biggest thing for me is just coming home every day and staying inside and not, there's nowhere to go. You can't go out to the bar. You can't go out and mingle with people. You can't go see people. And I've been doing a lot of virtual Zoom conversations via Roscoe Lorenzo and hosting authors and stuff. And it has been more a mental preparedness, is what I would say, a mental toughening and mental strengthening, because we are social beings. Human beings are social creatures. Being kept up like this in a small, with your family or on your own, is very, very challenging for a lot of people. And I'm fortunate that I have people here in the house with me that I can mingle with. Um, but that also reinforced the positivity piece, is that we need to really stay tough and upbeat during all this, because this can easily get us down quite a bit. And that realization, I've always known it, but it really hit home. And so I've tried to be very upbeat in any of my conversations with people, either out at Target or online. I've tried to keep it upbeat and positive and not give in to the negativity, and because there's a lot of it out there and it's overwhelming. And if we can just continue to raise a light for people, even if it only touches two people, that's two people that are going to smile for a moment, and that's good enough for me.
Nice, nice. Well, how is your job as a paper salesman for Dunder Mifflin going to interfere with your work
Well, binge
at
watching all
Target?
9 seasons of Office a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it keeps getting in the way because it's such a good show. And working in retail and corporate life all my life, it really resonates with me in the hilarity, because I could find all those personality types in every place I've ever worked. And one of my coworkers at Target, we were in the break room, and I said, "Who's this Stanley here at work?"
That is an awesome show. My husband and I, we'll watch some dark things and some heavy things, and then at the very end, we have to have a palate cleanser, and it's generally an episode of The Office or Parks and Recreation,
Now,
which is
here's some trivia for you for The Office. Jenna Fisher, who played Pam, and Angela Kinsey, who played Angela, are best friends in real life. And they now have a podcast called The Office Ladies. And they go each episode, they dissect the whole episode. Each episode of their podcast, they dissect an episode of the show and what they went through going to make it. And sometimes they have the other characters on as guests. One I listened to the other day had Rainn Wilson on, and they were talking about the healthcare episode. And it turns out most of those episodes of The Office were all improv. They had an idea of what they wanted to do, but most of those actors in the background who took the office seats are improv actors. And so, I mean, how remarkable, what a talented crew of people.
would you say that's your favorite show, or do you have a favorite TV show now?
The Office is probably Better Call Saul is probably my second one right there. And I almost think it's better than Breaking Bad.
Okay. Haven't watched that one yet. I'll put it on my list. How can people find you, and what are you looking for from local authors you'd like to help?
People can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, um, and on YouTube. Roscoe Lorenzo, it's all one word.
And Roscoe is Rossco.
Yep,
Right,
Lorenzo,
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, and www.roscoelorenzo.com is the website, which also has the blog, as well as the store. Um, and what I'm wanting to do with local authors, I really am just hoping to be another voice for them, another cheerleader to help them along in the promoting and marketing. A lot of authors don't have the promoting and marketing experience. They don't know how to use social media. They don't know how to do tags correctly. And it's not that they never learned or that they're ignorant of the process. It's just when you're self-published, marketing is not something you think about until you've done it. And when you are traditionally published, you get that team with you, and they take care of it for you. So I want to be a
You there? Can't hear you again. No, still not.
there. I hear you
Oh,
now.
okay. Yep,
There.
you're
Okay.
back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
What I was saying is I just want to be another place to kind of champion their book, and be to get out to reach their readers and help them spread the word. Because one voice is great, but when you have someone else with you, that means you're going to reach twice as many people.
Awesome. And your book, Turning Left, when's that going
Turning
to be
left,
available?
well, it may be later this year, maybe next year. It depends on how things are going with the brick and mortar. Right now, my funds are going primarily to that versus professional editing and getting that in there. So probably once we get the brick and mortar up and running, I will probably dive hardcore into that, turning left.
Awesome. Adam Ross, thank you so much for being my first COVID interviewee.
Yay! Happy
Yay,
to be doing
I
it.
know, I know. And for everybody
Thanks
out
for having
there,
me.
you can find today's show notes with links and photos on my website at leadvillelaurel.com. You can email me, laurel@strackpress.com. Follow me on Twitter at leadvillelaurel. And if you enjoy this episode, share it and get the word out to other authors. And follow Adam Ross, Roscoe Lorenzo on Facebook and Twitter and all those places. And if you've got if you're a local author, Colorado author, do you sponsor any other authors'
Oh yeah, hit me
books? All
up.
right. If you're
I'll
an
happily
author, if you're an author,
Yep,
get in touch
keep in
with
touch.
Adam. And you stay safe. And I look forward to developing this relationship.
Thank you, Laurel. You as well. It was
You,
great being on the show.
thank you. I really appreciate it. You take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye bye.